Welcome, everyone, to today's edition of Sports Shorts Daily, presented by LeBears Casino. I'm Ronnie Rance alongside Tommy Chrysan. TK joining us over in Jacksonville, Florida, on his way back to Baton Rouge after spending a couple days at the Players Championship. We'll get a full report and update on that. LSU news and notes. The Tigers' men's season is over. We knew it was going to happen quickly. We didn't know it was going to happen. It's such a thud. They lose by over 30 to Mississippi State in Nashville, so they didn't even get a chance to unpack their big bag. They just had a little overnight bag. And LSU women, of course, waiting their fate this weekend to find out who and where they will play in the NCAA tournament. The New Orleans Saints continue to make off-season news, albeit none of them so exciting that you're going to run out and buy season tickets or extra season tickets. But they have made some news, and I was surprised by some of the signings. We'll get into that. LSU baseball had a time change today. I actually talked to someone last night who didn't know about it and was like, "Yeah, I'm bringing my grandson to the game. We'll be there about 6 o'clock." I'm like, "No, you'll be getting there about halfway through the game if you get there at 6. Tigers playing a little afternoon delight, 4:30 start SEC play. Women's softball as well starting at 4:30 because expected rain tonight and also tomorrow during the day. Now, no word yet if the Saturday game will be postponed, moved back, or anything like that. But according to the weather last night, of course, these things can change. The weather should be done by 6 o'clock Saturday night when they're scheduled to have their second game of the series against Missouri. SEC play starts, of course. And if you were planning on going to the St. Patrick's Day parade on Saturday morning, then make sure you go to the parade on Sunday. It's been moved to Sunday noon start for the big St. Patty's Day parade. So I'm okay with that. I know some of the business owners or whatever may not be, but from a fan's perspective, 10 a.m. start on Saturday versus noon on Sunday, I'll take it. Also, condolences to all the LSU baseball family, especially the Burtman family. Miss Sandy Burtman passed away last night, 87 years of age, the first lady of college baseball in the state of Louisiana. Every LSU coach after Coach Burtman, every coach in the state of Louisiana had a relationship with the Burtman family, and particularly all the wives had a relationship with Miss Sandy. And she had been battling pancreatic cancer for over 3 years and fought a good fight, and unfortunately passed away last night. And I know, of course, tons of outpouring since that happened last night to the family. So anyway, Tommy, we'll start off on a happy topic, and that is you at the Players Championship, one of the iconic tournaments in America in golf. Everybody knows the 17th hole at Sawgrass, the Island Green, one of the most famous, iconic holes. You had some great weather. What was the experience like?
Well, the weather could not have been better. It was perfect. And went with somebody who's been to this tournament for many years in Jacksonville. We had a parking pass all the way. We walked in the gate and walked up to the view of the 17th hole. I think I sent you a picture. And kind of like, Ronnie, when you tell people you go to Augusta and the TV doesn't do it justice, the 17th hole is amazing. It's much smaller in person than it looks on TV. I mean, 146 yards from the back tee to the middle of the green. Now, the pin can be very different of 146 depending on where it is. But just unbelievable, the setting there, the 16th green's right over to the right. That's a par 5. I saw a lot of balls in the water. In fact, they have a caddy challenge on Wednesday during the practice round. I was at the practice round Wednesday. All the caddies who want to can hit a shot at 17. One caddy made a hole in one, backed it up into the hole. I wasn't watching, but it was all, of course, you heard the roar. I was over about 18, and you're thinking somebody made a hole in one. It was that kind of roar. But anyway, one of the caddies made a hole in one. But that hole is amazing. It's everything you think it is, but it's more in person. Then the clubhouse, the Players Championship clubhouse is unbelievable. I mean, I've been to Oakmont, and that's fabulous. This is unbelievable. It's open to the public. You can go there and have lunch. You can go there and have dinner. By the way, in the peak time of the season to play around at Sawgrass, there's 36 holes there. To play the course they play the tournament on, $950. $950 to play in the peak season. Now, so you can get on for 300-400 if you're in the off season. But the other thing was the 18th hole is a 460-yard par 4, dog leg slightly to the left with a huge lake on the left. When you stand on that tee, which I did, that fairway is not real wide. That fairway is not real wide. If you don't go in the left water, you're going to be in the trees right. I mean, it's long. I mean, even pros hit drivers, you know. But we walked a lot of the course. We didn't see the entire course, and we were back out there for the first round on Thursday, and with tons more people. We got a better parking spot Thursday. We didn't have to walk quite as far as we did on Wednesday. We had seats in the private deck with a beer and food, and everything's complimentary. It's a social event. You don't see a lot of golf in a golf tournament, especially compared to when you watch on TV. But we still saw our good share of stuff and some great shots. Saw a hole-in-one by a PGA Tour pro in the practice round. How about this? Brian Harmon, the little lefty that won the British Open. He's on a par 3 about 180. He yanks one way right into the trees like I would do or you would do. So he re-tees and knocked it in. You know, again, practice round. And, of course, it was a decent amount of people to practice round. First round was packed, and they say this weekend, although they're expecting rain Sunday, like today and tomorrow, it's just going to be crazy packed out there. It's just an unbelievable facility, property, manicured to a T. It was a bucket list thing for me, and I truly checked that off the box. It was great.
Yeah, their bubble ball is a little bit better than our bubble ball, huh? When they hit their second one.
His way in the hole from about 185 as well.
You mentioned it. I've been fortunate to go to the Masters. I've been to the Phoenix Open a few times in my life. They're a lot of fun. It's visually, it's great. It's all pretty, and obviously the golf course is never going to be in as good a shape as it is the week of a tournament. And it's a lot of fun, but you're right. You don't see a lot of golf, even if, like, for example, if you're posted up at the 16th at the Phoenix Open, the most iconic hole in golf, that par 3 there with the stadium hole. You're seeing on a Thursday or Friday, you're seeing 3 golfers, every 15 minutes or whatever, come through there and play the hole. You're not getting to see much more than that. Now they make, that's the fun part there. You get to bet on who's going to be close to the hole and all that. Or if you go to the Zurich, that's coming up. I've been to the Zurich many times. You're at the 18th, even if you're one of the boxes. I mean, you're sitting there, okay, every 15 minutes you get to see someone's approach shot and a couple putts or a chip. That's about it.
Well, I will say this, Ronnie. Again, the weather could not have been better. Blue sky, 72 degrees, slight wind blowing. I will say this to you: the parade was amazing, if you know what I mean.
Oh,
No, it was mind-boggling the number of gorgeous warm women dressed for the weather that we had. Oh my, that was something else. But but both days we got out of there like 3:00 or whatever, went to dinner. The whole thing was with a group of people, and it was a tremendous trip. And I'm on my way back to Baton Rouge now, and I'll be home later today.
They always say that the best looking wives and girlfriends are golfers and race car drivers.
I vote for the golfers. I vote for the golfers after the last 2 days.
Congratulations to the McNeese State Cowboys. Will Wade, in his second year as head coach of McNeese, they win the Southland Conference tournament. They punched their ticket to the NCAAs. Not a surprise. They dominated the conference this year. I think he only had 1 loss in league play. They didn't cover the bet, if you were wondering, against Lamar, but that doesn't matter for them. Will Wade headed to the big dance. Rumored to be going to NC State. We'll keep an eye on that. That's kind of the behind the scenes talk, is that Will Wade will be in the ACC next year, coaching NC State. All I care is he's not in the SEC. I don't care where he goes. I'm happy for him. Just don't want to be an LSU fan and have to go against Will Wade, because wherever he goes, Tommy, they're going to be successful.
I agree. Well, we'll see if he ends up being part of the NC State program, or does he land somewhere else? We'll let it play out.
Yeah, and of course, McMahon, LSU's coach, about a month ago, he kind of got the old was told that he will be back for next year. It'll be, will he make it past next year? I think he'll have to get into the NCAA tournament next year, I believe. They only had 3 wins this season. Extremely disappointing after being 9-9 last year in SEC play. To be 6 games below that is just really not acceptable. And LSU basketball is going to, like a lot of teams, gonna have a lot more money to spend next year to make an impact on getting players through their profit sharing. Their budget's going to potentially increase by 50% or double, and because of that, they're going to give him one more chance to go get some players in the portal and see if they can't get this thing better. If not, I think you're going to be definitely looking for a new coach. The New Orleans Saints, like a lot of teams in the NFL right now, in the news, signing players. We didn't. I sort of expected, Tommy, more of a purge from the Saints, meaning we wouldn't see certain players back. We thought maybe Derek Carr could be on the move. We had Cam Jordan. We wouldn't expect like somebody like him to be back. And well, Derek Carr's back. They restructured his deal. Cam Jordan is back. Signs a 1-year deal. And outside of that, they have some interesting human interest signings. Will Clapp, former LSU Tiger, dad was also an LSU Tiger. He spent some time initially out of LSU with the Saints. He's now back as a center. And Justin Reed, who went to high school at Dutchtown High, and of course his brother Eric Reed was a great player at LSU and then played in the NFL a long time. Justin went to Stanford, but now he's returning to his home state playing for the Saints.
Yeah, that's cool. They've been active as you might have expected. Some of the moves surprising, some not. But all 32 NFL teams are going through this. And, hey, it's Kellen Moore's team. One of them tight ends they signed, he was with him in Philadelphia, so you have a relationship and knowledge there. But, NFL coaches, like all coaches, you go back to your comfort zone. They know what Cam Jordan is capable of doing, so it's easy to get him back. They know what Will Clapp is capable because they've done it in the league. Clapp, Saints, and Chargers, I guess, and he was with the Bills last year. So they're going to go with something they know that somebody can do. So, the Saints, it's not over. There's a lot happening. Draft is in late April up in Green Bay. A lot more going to happen in the NFL.
Jawan Johnson, by the way, another New Orleans Saint that we sort of didn't maybe expect to have him back. He signs a multi-year deal with the New Orleans Saints. And so, look, I have zero expectation for this team next year. And I think as a fan, that's where you need to be. Going into this season, Tommy, I think the over-under in Vegas, was it 7.5? I think it was.
Yes.
Yeah. And we said in August, load up on the under. Now we look like idiots through the first 2.5 games. Really, they're up to 2-0, dominating. They're winning late in the fourth quarter against the Super Bowl champ Eagles. They give up the long touch, the long pass to the tight end on a drag where the defenders run into each other, and it gets inside the 5-yard line, and then they win the game. And ever since then, bam, injuries and everything else happened, and the season turned on a dime. But we ended up being correct, So at the end of the day, this year's team's going to be the same. Now the over/under is going to be a lot lower, but this year's, well, maybe we'll see. I don't know if it'll be a lot lower because I thought it was 7.5 was a little high last year. But bottom line is this team's not going to win. I don't care what they haven't done anything in offseason to make you believe that this team's going to win. And they don't have money to go get the good players. These are all the schmoes.
I think the Saints have to do what you said. Go in it with no expectations, and all of a sudden they win a couple or they upset somebody, then you can maybe get your hopes up a little bit. But if you go in with no expectations, and we'll see what that over and under number is going to be once we get past the draft. And but I like your thought on the no expectations and then see what happens.
Yeah, one of the surprising signings too, another guy, Chase Young. It's not so much that they were surprised they signed him, but 3 years, $51 million. Now we can't get caught up at it's human nature to go, my God, $51 million for Chase Young. It's all relative, right? I mean, the cap increases. It's all the demand. What is he worth on the open market? But I just didn't see 3 years, $51 million worth of production from Chase Young last year. Now maybe they think they saw enough to think, well, he played this well and he's still not 100%. He's still getting back. Whatever he look, he's going to have more in the tank. We shall see. I just think they were desperate, and Chase Young was desperate to sign a big contract. I don't necessarily think everyone else was going to give him that. LSU baseball this weekend, Tommy. I'm looking for a sweep. I mean, if they do not sweep Missouri, it's going to be a little bit of a disappointment. 2-1, you can live with anytime you win 2 out of 3. But this is an opportunity in the hardest league against the worst team in the conference. They're 8-8. They haven't beaten anybody. They've lost to a bunch of some nobodies. They are LSU's at home. They're coming off of one of their more impressive offensive games of the year. They get 18 hits through six at bats. So they need to go sweep because there's plenty of losses on their schedule down the road in this league. They got to get the wins while they can.
Well, Missouri, they're a work in progress. They'll be at the bottom of the stand, but their coach is a guy I know. Carrick Jackson spent some time at Nichols briefly. Then he was the head coach of the Southern Jaguars. I got to know him at that time. Great guy, great baseball guy, good family guy. Then he went to work for MLB for a little while. Now he's back at Missouri. And, if he gets the resources and he gets some players in there, he's the kind of coach that will make him good. Also on his staff is Tim Jamison, who played at UNO for Ron Bastrey, was a catcher when I was playing at Southeastern. Tim's a great guy. He's a former head coach at Missouri, who then is now back as an assistant coach. So a couple of storylines there, but the bottom line is, LSU, 4:30 today. Cade Anderson on the bump, the lefty, who has all of his outings have been very good. And, win game 1, then win game 2, then win game 3. The game tomorrow, time could get changed due to weather. Just pay attention to the official LSU social media accounts, and you'll know all about that. So get the job done today. It's a conference game, so it's a little bit different, okay? It is Missouri, but it's still a conference game. You want to get off to the good start, step out on the right foot.
No question about it. You mentioned Carrick, and this is his second season, by the way, as head coach of Missouri. And, I don't know if he's going to have enough time for those resources to kick in. If you've ever seen Missouri's baseball field, you don't think it's an SEC facility. And, of course, the weather can always be an issue. Just ask the University of Kentucky as well, one of the northernmost outpoint of the whole conference. They deal with some cold, some weather. So does obviously Missouri and the Midwest does. And they just don't have the facilities to compete with others. But at the same time, maybe they'll give Carrick more time because they realize that internally.
By the way, it's the toughest conference in all of college baseball. Yeah. So getting from the bottom couple of slots in the standings, even to the middle of the standings, is a huge task.
We'll be on Sports Church Radio tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. You can listen to Sports Church Radio in Lake Charles, Lafayette, and Baton Rouge on ESPN Radio. We look forward. We'll be over tomorrow. Where are we? Bruley Walk-Ons. We'll be at the Bruley Walk-Ons tomorrow. So come join us. And once again, prayers to the Burtman family and the LSU Tiger baseball family. Miss Sandy Burtman passed away at the age of 87 years old last night. Coach Burtman, by the way, will be 87 years old in May. They met when they were in their 20s when they were both teachers in Miami Beach, teaching at elementary school. And that's what they met in the lunchroom, like most romances do, right? At the cafeteria.
And what I want to do, I met a dear friend of Skip Burtman's a couple of days ago, Dusty Rhodes, a Hall of Fame junior college coach who was assistant at the University of Florida when Skip got the LSU job. Skip actually wanted Dusty to come with him. And I texted Coach the other day. I'm sitting with Dusty Rhodes. He said to tell you hello. And of course, Skip texted me back, said, tell Dusty. I said, hi. And of course, I was unaware of the Sandy Burtman thing. So my prayers to the entire Burtman family and the LSU family as well.
All right, we'll be back tomorrow for more Sports Church Radio. Until then, please like and share this video, and we will see you on Monday morning for more Sports Shorts Daily, presented by La Berge Casino in Baton Rouge. Have a good one, everyone.